Today I'm starting a new series of how to play characters. Now this is going to include beginning to advanced tips and strategies. Anybody already playing Master should be familiar or probably is familiar with just about everything I'm saying. These videos are going to be for more players that don't already have everything maxed. So if you are a subscriber of my series, of my channel, and you already know pretty much everything in this video, you probably can skip the rest of them. Current questions that I do have that I am answering are when to use your ultimate, what enemies should be prioritized, how aggressively should I play as this character, ammo concerns in early waves, and what weapons provide the most DPS or effectiveness like in Faz's case, one-shot kills. If you have any other questions you can think of that you think you would like answered, I would love to know about them. So we're going to start this off with when to use the ultimate. Now, as I said, this is more as a beginning to advanced than pro. Obviously, if your character is already maxed, then you're trying to actually skip waves a lot of times as Marcus, or you'll be trying to get yours through multiple waves. For everybody else that can't do that yet, when you want to use your ultimate is when your base is getting overrun and you need constant headshots to push them back, or at the beginning of a wave where you are posted up in a spot where you can hit the spawn. And what you want to do is you want to wait till some enemies spawn in and you have at least about 3 targets or at least one like big robot that you can put several shots in so you can build up time, assuming that you already have rifle feedback. If not, then you're going to be basically using this as a reserve, or if anything gets in trouble, then you will pop it. I can pop this right here. I know I said 3 enemies, but I built up a lot of time on mine. My character is max, so I'm not really concerned. Also, when using your ultimate, you have a good radius. So blind firing is actually a very good strategy. You can even use your pistol in the beginning if you don't have a retro to get that 1 headshot or 2 headshots on the drone real quick. Now also during your ultimate, say a drone is in cover and only a little bit is sticking out. You're not getting that headshot. If you actually aim your cursor like you were normally shooting and you put it right there, you will get that headshot marker and you will be able to increase your time assuming that you have rifle feedback. Another thing worth noting about the ultimate is if you say you have it on wave 3 or wave 4, but you're doing pretty good and you're not sure if you're going to get it back by 5, or you have it on wave 9 and you're not sure if you can get it back if you use it in the beginning of the wave, if you're going to get it back for the boss fight. A very good tactic is to actually just reserve it. If you're not being overrun, there's no need to actually use it. Use it on that mini boss wave or that boss wave and just make that fight a lot easier. So moving on to what enemies should be prioritized. So, if you have your living legend already active, the enemies that should be prioritized are enemies with high health pool. You want to, this is also especially just to note if you have rifle feedback. If you don't have rifle feedback, you're not going to build up any time, but if you do, you want to focus on things like rejects, scions, pouncers, anything that can take multiple hits. The same strategy actually does apply to when you don't have your ultimate. You want to go for high value hit point targets. Actually, the targets that I mentioned, the enemies that I mentioned, are actually pretty much the same targets that you want to go for all game long. Marcus builds up his living legend through damage. So, rejects especially are one enemy that you should be prioritizing. Not only because, as I'll get into the weapon loadout for him, he should have generally a Lancer and a Retro Lancer. Two weapons that can execute, and his passive ability makes him invulnerable to damage while performing an execution. So whether you're shooting the reject with one of your weapons, or you're executing it through retro charge or chainsaw, you are inflicting damage to do later. But yeah, you will build up a lot of time. Generally what I do is I just go for the active, or I just unload a clip into them, and that will build up a lot of time because of their health pool, and they're very annoying targets to the rest of your team. People with bleed can take them out, but due to how many hits they can take, especially on higher level difficulties, Marcus is a great character to prioritize rejects. Pouncers and Scions, if you got a Foz, I mean, let Foz take the first shot if possible. But anything that you can put a lot of damage if you don't already have your living legend is great target. Right here, now, we got this boom shot. Now, I'm going to pop my living legend because nobody else seemed to be able to kill him right away. And I was able to get rid of him before he started destroying fortifications and downing 3 players at once. That's when you want to use your living legend. It's also worth noting, if executions is on, you can actually just run up to a target with the Lancer and point blank them. Only one dude left. I could just... Good night. Ammo concerns in an early wave. If you are doing the strategy with Marcus where you're skipping waves, which is not going to be very easy to do after he is nerfed. Right now, even at max level, unless the whole team skips waves, you really can't do it. Let me just get a retro real quick. So, when you are using your living legend, you need to be taking into consideration that you are going to use a lot of ammo. So, trying to get that ammo box at the end of the wave before it actually starts the new wave, you can get that ammo box and the new ammo box appears, is a very good tactic for a wave proceeding using your living legend. As you can see there, I can build up a lot of time shooting high value targets. So the weapons that are best for Marcus are the Retro Lancer, the Lancer, and the Lancer GL because of his Lancer card. And you can stay tuned at the end of the video and I'll be getting into the best skills for him. I also have videos for every character. Great strategy too is to put a little damage in on the Lancer and then follow it up with the Retro Lancer for the headshot. Sometimes though you will get a nice cannon really close and you just gotta unload on it. He got that ammo box at the end of the wave, and now that allows me to also get the ammo box. The reason the Lancer GL is also an excellent choice for Marcus is not only because while living your legend, it has an insanely fast, compared to every other weapon, rate of fire. It also gives you active GL shots. So, assuming you already got the Lancer card on, every GL shot that you use with it for the grenade launcher is an active GL. So it's great to reserve for sentinels, bosses, and then unload on them. You got that problem boom shot, put a quick shot in on it. Usually don't spam it because it's actually technically not a rifle hit. So if you're using rifle feedback, you won't actually get the bonus of it. Generally you want to use Lancers on Scions. Reserve your Retro Lancer for burst fire on close drones. If you can control the recoil, I mean it's fine, but if you're missing many shots, then it's not that effective. Now, as I mentioned, this is my first video of a potential series which I will be doing all characters with tips and tricks. So I did mention those questions that I have written out, and those were the ones I was answering in the commentary. If you do have others that you think are good, I am very interested to know. I will take them under serious consideration, and if the information provided by answering them seems valuable, I will definitely include that information in future characters, and you can ask any question regardless of beginner to pro tips in the comments below, and I will answer them. And stay tuned, and I will be showing you the best cards for him just to show you what I generally currently run, just for everybody that doesn't want to skip and look through all the cards. Almost always I will run Headshot Master, Defensive Stim, Rifle Feedback, Custom Lancer, and Brand of Brothers. Occasionally, if I'm playing a low-level difficulty like I am now, I'll take off Band of Brothers and I'll put on the flank just for an insane amount of damage because I'm not really concerned. But that's generally what I run. Getting robots actually made me think of something I wanted to know, and that is when you do have the robot targets, using your Lancer a little bit more, especially if you get it on the first set, versus buying a retro early is great because you don't need to get the headshot to eliminate them. So especially while using your Living Legend, if you haven't built up perks, using your Lancer for robot targets and then switching over to the retro to get the drone, or doing half damage, 75% damage on the Living Legend with your Lancer, and switching to the retro, which I don't actually have in my weapon wheel at the moment, but switching to the retro to get the headshot is a great tactic to use. Now, of course, don't go if you don't have your Living Legend. There's no reason not to go for headshots. It's just you don't need the headshot. And that's why using your Lancer on them is great, since the recoil is very low and you can take them out fairly easy. I just wanted to show what I was talking about too before with having your Living Legend going and hitting a spawn point. So the ability to hit a spawn point is very good if you already have the ability to get your Living Legend from multiple ways. So if you do have your Living Legend, you build up insane time on a boss fight or whatever, what you want to focus on is an area where a lot of enemies are spawning. If I was using the Retro Lancer, I'd have more enemies spawn in, but I kind of downed those, which messed that up, so I gotta go kill them real quick. I mean, my Marcus is really OP for Insane. It's really OP for Master, but... This is also why I do recommend a defensive stim. It allows you to have a lot of hit points, and once you regen health, you build back your stim up. You can basically take hits from, well, you can take hits from Swarmac rockets, Sentinel rockets, and assuming you're not taking fire from anything else, you will stay alive, but... Yeah, just want to get back to point. Hitting a spawn point with your Living Legend is very good to get a lot of hits and continue to have your Living Legend. Right now we're not even skipping waves. I had mine for like 20 waves and then I lost it, got it back, had it again like another 4 waves. I did enough damage on the Snatcher where, as you'll see right here, even though we didn't even skip any waves, I probably have a good solid minute built up. I know my time fairly well. I'm playing him a lot. But yeah, hitting choke points at the start, if you can't hit, you don't have like a good spot where you can hit at the spot, you probably want to change positions. Like right here, I've been sitting on the outside so I can hit the spawn, and anybody else posted up is also getting the benefit while I am posted up there. Just want to also, while mentioning this, mention one other advanced tactic that I left out, and that is at the end of the wave, when there is about as many enemies as you know that you can just straight walk them down and like this. Go ahead and go do that and speed up the wave. Now this is an advanced tactic for when you're keeping your Living Legend for multiple waves. This is used so you end the wave as quickly as possible and you get to the point of the next wave where you will have the potential to have your Living Legend active at the start of that wave. Also, this tactic also involves what I mentioned before, grabbing the ammo box before the ammo box disappears. Like right now, in a few seconds, you will lose time to get double ammo. Like I picked this up now, there's only one. But that one over there, he can now pick up. So while you're walking them down and killing the last couple enemies, make your way towards an ammo box so you can grab that ammo box, and then somebody else or yourself can grab the next ammo box. I just wanted to show you too, if you are aggressive at the end and you know your limit and you go out and you kill the last couple enemies and you get those doubles. As you can see right here, I've gotten 40,000 power in this game as Marcus. It's a very good strategy to get power. So I've already shown you what I choose for high level difficulties and end game play with Marcus, and that's Band of Brothers, Defensive Stim, Headshot Master, Rifle Feedback, and Custom Lancer. You can potentially remove Defensive Stim and flank him. It actually might be needed after he's nerfed to really get your Living Legend going for most of the game. Right now I can easily do it from wave like 3 to 5 to 50 if we skip waves with a team. But I'm imagining that defensive stim replaced with rifle with flankum would allow you to just continue to break the game with the Living Legend. I know that's not what TC wants to hear, but with all sixes you could do that. 33% nerf, assuming you're not hitting them all on the straight end path, then yeah, you should be able to do it. But I mean, the only other thing is if you nerf them anymore, you really ruin his Living Legend. So I don't know. That's on you to fix that. But going to go to the unlocks because this video is more for beginner players leveling up and how to play him. So as you unlock cards, the first card that you should be equipping is Dug In. Dug In is an excellent choice for a card slot until your defensive stim is all the way up, and you could actually run the two together and remove the Lancer, and while you'd have less damage, you'd be a real tank. But anyway, skipping over that, this is just an excellent beginner card to have on. The extended rifle mag is also a good card to put on in the beginning. Damage resistance from explosives, and I mean, you put it on for your third slot, but you might want to skip over. Friendly fire just makes you a really beast in your Living Legend, just hitting everything on the board, especially when it's leveled up. But what I would actually put on as my third card while leveling them up as soon as it's available is Last Ditch. Once Marcus has 80% or less health, he does a lot more damage, so that's really sweet. Next card I would be putting on is Custom Lancer. Next card I would be putting on is Rifle Feedback. I would probably take Last Ditch off. Yeah, I would take Last Ditch off, and once I have Flankum, I'd replace it with Flankum. Now you gotta debate though on your card levels which one is going to be more effective for you, but Flankum is a better card. Then once you get defensive stim, I'd still probably be running Dug In until defensive stim is at least level 3 and you're actually got a good amount of stim versus having extra defense the entire game while in cover. Once you get Headshot Master, you would definitely, you could also replace one of those cards with take off Extended Rifle Mag, but we're also going to take off Extended Rifle Mag and we're going to put on Headshot Master. And then once we get to Band of Brothers, then you would be running the 5 that I have here, or replacing it defensive stim with Flankum. As far as escape goes, it's just going to vary from map to map, but Dug In is excellent. Headshot Master is a must. Band of Brothers, especially if you're playing him on a Lancer board. I mean, if you're playing him, you're obviously going to want to play him on a Lancer board. Otherwise, there's going to be more ideal characters to play. But yeah, Rifle Feedback, Band of Brothers, Dug In, Flankum, Defensive Stim, Headshot Master definitely. Can't not have that. Really shouldn't not have Band of Brothers either, especially if you have a Living Legend moment in the map where you're planning to use it and it's highly useful. That is definitely another one. Obviously, you're playing on a Lancer map if you're playing him. or you're grinding, and if you're doing the surgery clock, really the rest of it doesn't even matter. But yeah, these two are your pretty much locked cards, and then you're looking at your defense, Band of Brothers, Dug In, Defensive Stim, and depending on how long you need to have your ultimate, Rifle Feedback, and Flankum is also an excellent third card actually. These three are really good cards, and then deciding on when you're going to be using your ultimate and how long you think you can make it last will decide your other two cards. And that is my beginning, advanced, and a little bit of pro tips for how to play Marcus. I hope that helps. Once again, if you have any other questions that you would like answered, I would love to know them. This is a test video. If it goes well, then I will be doing the entire series for all characters. But those are the questions that I currently have laid out. So if you have anything else, just let me know what you want to know. I hope that helps.